What up, yo? It's Marc with the Fantasy Knockout Fantasy Football Show. Today is Tuesday, September 20th. You can follow the show on social media at Fantasy Knockout. Make sure to subscribe, whatever platform you're watching or listening on. Let's hit that goal of 100 subscribers on YouTube. I'm excited for today's show. It's the Week 3 must-add players, the waiver wire edition. Who are you looking at this week? Who's the flavor of the week for quarterback and defense? How'd I do last week with my must-starts? I got 6 out of 5 or 6.5 out of 9. I'm not going to count Julio Jones since he didn't play, so we're going to take that one away. I really whiffed on Matt Ryan. Sorry, guys. And Pierce kind of came out of nowhere. Didn't expect his usage to that much, but doing better.
Good evening,
Let's talk
ladies
some
and
news.
gentlemen. Here is the news.
News with views. Tight end Dalton Schultz out of Dallas. His head coach Mike McCarthy said that the team won't know about Dalton's knee and his week 3 status until closer to game day. Dalton has a PCL issue in his right knee. I'd lean on finding possibly another tight end since Dallas's game is Monday night and you don't want to be just left hanging there without a tight end to play. Wide receiver Michael Pittman out of Indianapolis. His head coach Frank Reich said that Mike, his quad, made good progress in his recovery and could play in week 3. Not going to lie, could have used him this week. Quarterback Trey Lance out of San Francisco. He underwent a successful operation on his fractured ankle. He suffered season-ending ankle injury during the game. Jimmy Garoppolo time. He's back. Wide receiver Jerry Jeudy out of Denver is considered day-to-day with a chest sternum issue. Running back James Conner out of Arizona is not considered long-term or serious. He had an ankle injury. Look to Eno Benjamin or Darrell Williams as replacement options. Wide receiver Mike Evans out of Tampa Bay is suspended 1 game for violating the league's player safety policy, which was the fight with Marshawn Lattimore. Main event, players to add for week 3 waivers. These are the must-add guys. We're going to start off with quarterbacks. Carson Wentz out of Washington. He's 52% owned. I like what he's done there. He's had 2 solid weeks. Is Carson for real? Well, we got to keep playing with that. It's the NBA Jam rule. He's heating up. Next week he's on fire. If that's the case, we're going to roll with him. So if you need a quarterback, you can get Wentz. Jared Goff out of Detroit. He's 22% owned. Marcus Mariota out of Atlanta is 11% owned. And then Jimmy Garoppolo, San Francisco. He's about 5% owned. Some tight ends to look at this week is Gerald Everett out of Los Angeles Chargers and Tyler Higbee for the Los Angeles Rams. Everett's 57% owned, Higbee's 67% owned, so if they're taken, here's some other options. Logan Thomas out of Washington, he's 14% owned. I'd go snag him. I played him this week. He had a solid game, and as long as Wentz is doing it, Thomas is going to be the guy. Evan Ingram out of Jacksonville, he's 21% owned. And then Tyler Conklin, I know it's gross, from the Jets, he's 3% owned there. All right, some running backs to add this week. Raheem Mostert out of Miami, he's 43% owned. Darrell Williams out of Arizona, 4% owned. I think he's going to be the guy there if James Conner misses time. Khalil Herbert out of Chicago, he's 48% owned. He's looking to get more and more of the workload there. And Montgomery had a solid game, but they're splitting more than I had anticipated. Tyrion David Price out of San Francisco, he's 8% owned. They used him more than I thought they would, and they didn't use Jeff Wilson as much. Eno Benjamin out of Arizona, he's going to be the pass-catching back there, 11% owned. Rashad White, these guys are more stashes. Rashad White out of Tampa Bay, he's 35% owned. If anything happens to Fournette, White's going to be the guy there. Tyler Algier out of Atlanta, he's about 14% owned with Damian Williams going on the IR. They're going to lean on him and Cordell Patterson a little bit more. And then Jalen Warren out of Pittsburgh. If anything happens to Najee Harris, he's going to be the guy. He's 16% owned. Let's talk some wideouts. My number 1 guy to pick up this week, if he's out there, he's not on any of my leagues. Bummer, I missed out. Garrett Wilson out of the New York Jets. He's 23% owned. Go get Wilson. Spend what you can to get him. They're saying that he's going to be the new Justin Jefferson of this year. Jahan Dotson out of Washington, he's about 43% owned. I like him. He's doing it there. Jacoby Myers, he's the one pass catcher maybe in New England that I'll take a chance on. He's 35% owned. Treylon Burks, 44% owned. He's the main guy there in Tennessee. Russell Gage out of Tampa Bay with Mike Evans being benched. He's going to get a little bit more usage, so look for him. He's about 40% owned. McCole Hardman out of Kansas City, he just keeps getting it done there. It's not great. I still think Kelsey's the number 1 option, obviously, but then the number 2 pass catcher is between Hardman and Juju. Hardman's 31% owned. And then out of Dallas, Noah Brown, he just keeps getting it done right now, 2% owned. And then Greg Dort out of Arizona, as long as Rondale Moore is out and Andy Isabella is not playing, he's 7% owned. He is the guy there with Kyler Murray. All right, some streaming quarterbacks this week. Jimmy Garoppolo from San Francisco, he's at Denver, he's 5% owned. Denver just looks bad. He should get Kittle back this week. And then the other guy is Tua Tagovailoa out of Miami. He's got Buffalo, not great. He's 62% owned. It should be a shootout there, similar to last week with what he did in Baltimore. Plus, we just saw his ceiling. So if Tua's out there, pick him up. Some defenses to play this week. The Dallas Cowboys are at the New York Giants. They're 42% owned. Dallas's defense looks legit. They're real. And their schedule opens up. They got at New York, Washington, at the Rams, at Philly, Detroit, and Chicago. So roll with the Cowboys if you have them. And then the other team is Kansas City Chiefs. They're at Indianapolis. They're 36% owned. They get Matt Ryan, who's just been struggling. So go ahead and feel confident in starting those guys for streaming defenses. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today. The next show is Week 3 must-start players. I want to say thank you for listening to the show. Make sure to subscribe, whatever platform you're on. Please leave a rating and review. It really helps me out. All right. Till next time. See ya.